flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Bill?
Yes.
Betty? Here. John?
Here.
Hank?
Here.
Chris?
Here.
Calendar here.
Okay, at this time, I would like to have a brief moment of silence to recognize the death of Betty Becker. I'm sure most people here knew Betty. She's been an outstanding citizen of the town of Palatine for a long time. Instrumental in starting the ambulance corps and a lot of other organizations. She was very active in the community.
Can we add to that her grandson Ricky Becker was a member of this board for a few years?
Yes. Very well-known family, the whole family in the community. Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the prior meeting minutes last month.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Sean. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion, corrections? Okay, if there are no discussion or corrections, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
Okay. Committee reports, let's do the highway superintendent and then we'll jump right into the budget from there. We'll come back and get the rest of them later. Artie?
Well, as far as the report, we hauled in sand for winter. We also hauled crusher run for a couple days to redo our stockpile. Routine maintenance repairs on trucks. Currently prepping the trucks to be ready for snow. Couple nice days this past week. Had the guys mow a third pass. Only takes a few days to do one pass along the edge of the blacktop, so we did that to help stop some drifting if we can. Other than that, been pretty quiet. I did some research on a great all. Sean and I went and looked at that used one, and I did some research on mower tractors. So whenever you want to talk about that stuff, I've got some information for you. And right away, all right. I'm going to start off by saying the great all we have is down. It's been down for a while. We weren't in a big hurry to get at it. We didn't need it. But now that we can use it, we checked it out. It has a broken timing case on the front of the motor. Very detailed, intensive repair. Something I don't feel we should be doing in-house. You have to pull the gear off the camshaft or pull the camshaft out and a bunch of other stuff. I did get an estimate from Cummins of Albany to the tune of $4,797.33. That's where our big oil leak is in the front of the motor. The cover's broke, and if we try to run it, it's going to cause more damage. So it's sitting in the garage right now.
You mentioned to me your immediate needs for a machine to dig with.
Well, yeah, we as of right now, I think there's 4 or 5 culvert jobs that need to be done on the wall. New culverts going in for people and extensions and a couple other jobs. Not to mention, we like to go out and do some ditching before winter to help keep the water off the roads. So that being said, I've been trying to find a used XL 3100. Great All considers it a highway machine because of its road travel speed. Sean and I went and looked at one. that originally came out of the south. I can't tell you what year it is. I didn't bother trying to call and get the price because after looking at it, it's already starting to rust pretty good. So I didn't feel it was something that we should be spending our money on. So in the meantime, I have made calls as far west as Texas and as far south as Florida, looking for another used machine. They're hard to find. In fact, there are none. The north or the east coast representative for Great All, who covers everything from about Pennsylvania to Florida, knows of 0 for sale. Most municipalities buy them, they keep them till they're junk. So, that sales rep asked why we were looking at a 3100 instead of a 3300. Well, a 3300 is essentially the same machine. Sean's got a picture of it right there, except it's on a wheeled excavator chassis. Has advantages over the other one. You can dig all the way around it. Downfall is slow on the road. We leave the machine on the road if we're doing big repairs. So we don't travel the road very much with it anyways, other than get to and from where we're doing. With that being said, talking to these guys out of the south, because if we buy a used machine, I like it to come from the south. Maybe never seen salt. They do stuff real slow in the south. So you make a phone call, it takes them a week or so to get back to you. You give them an answer, and it takes them another week or so to get back to you. So the sales rep from Great All says we probably have a good chance of finding one of these used. I told him to go ahead and see what he could dig up for us. I'm waiting to hear back from him. In the meantime, I called the local dealer. They have 2, take one and pass it around, 2019s that they had in their rental fleet. They are cheaper than the 3100. They have more lifting capacity than the 3100. This one they have in stock is coming back this week from rental. There's the numbers on it. They're gonna throw off $34,000 for the rental that was taken off the machine. They will bring that machine and let us try it if the board's willing to spend $300,000 to buy it. If the board's not willing to spend $300,000, they're not gonna bring it and let us try it. If you want to rent one for a week or a month, $7,800 a month. If you rent it, they'll take the rental price off the machine, but $7,800 is a lot of money to rent for a month, I think.
Could you get everything done you need done in a month?
Yeah, probably. But at the same token, Great All has options with municipal lease. You can lease them for 2 or 3 years at about 3% interest, and then buy them for $1. So you can spread the payments out over a couple years. I looked up back in our records, and I never really gave it a thought until after last month's meeting. The town paid $100,000 for the machine we have almost 20 years ago, 2001, 18 years ago. So with the cost of everything going up, I really was looking to find one a couple years old. I'm still hoping we can. But I do need some pipes to get in. But if this board's willing to spend $300,000, not saying we're committed, but they'll bring that one, let us use it for a couple of days and we can get our pipes done. But I'm still waiting on a call out of the south to see if they can find a use of it. The town of Root has a very similar machine. Theirs is a little smaller. There's a 2300. Talked to them guys, they said it works great. Nice thing is you can dig on one end, dump in a truck 180 degrees from you, but you can't do with the one we got. So that's one thing. Something to think about. The other thing is the mower tractors. I did some research. This is a thing I made up quick for you guys so you can look at it. I priced Ford New Holland and John Deere. I went to the Kubota dealer, but they never called me back. So I figured they didn't want to sell a tractor. Comparing apples to apples, the 2 yellow lines. Clinton Tractor gave us a price for a 75 horse tractor $48,000 and change. The Alamo flail's $8,000 and change. The sickle bar's $18,000 and change for a total of $75,500. If we buy a John Deere does not sell the sickle bar, but we can buy the sickle bar from Tracy Road Equipment, who is an Alamo dealer. So if you buy a John Deere at same horsepower, similar tractors, for $40,600, depending on which flail we want to put onto it, add the sickle bar, it's about $10,000 cheaper. The ideal setup I'm thinking is the one in the gray line. That's a John Deere tractor with a Cutmore flail, which is very similar to an Alamo. Alamo has a lot of gearbox troubles. Cutmore went to a different type gearbox. The Diamond is probably the best mower out there, but as you can see, it's over $4,000 more.
Okay,
There's
let's,
something to look at.
let's, one deal at a time. Any thoughts on the grade all?
With the 3,300, Artie, does that mean you don't have to block 2 lanes because you can swivel around instead of with a grade all
It's
kind
the
of?
same exact top on a different foundation. So
Okay.
on little roads, you're still gonna block both lanes.
Okay,
But it is lower to the ground. It will lift more than a 3100. The one, if you look on the paper here, it's got optional outriggers and a backfill blade. So if you're filling a ditch, instead of having to scoop every bucket, you can take the blade and push it back in. And the outriggers make it a lot more stable. That's why it's got a lot more lifted power than the fast one over the road, the 3100.
and that has the quick attach bucket where you can take and change
Yep,
buckets?
and this quote is with 2 buckets to fit it, because the buckets that the machine we have will not fit this one. This machine that you're looking at right here, they do not know the hours, because it's still at Fort Drum right now, but they don't believe it's got very many hours on it. If you want to take your time and think about it, if we lease it for a month, they'll take the lease price 100% off the purchase price, and that gives us right of first refusal if they do decide to buy it. If you rent it for a month and decide not to buy it, you give them the $7,800 and give it back. If
Tight as you have found the market on reasonable grade-alls, we should probably act in some way on this tonight, or by next month it will be gone. And I don't like to buy equipment under the gun. When I first showed up here, we knew the grade-all was fatigued. It was past its useful life. And a new one, I was told at that time, was 4 1/4. All right? So, my budget reflected a new truck this next year, plus the grade all, plus the mowing equipment over about a 3 to 4 year cycle. We refurbished the truck. I'm pretty sure, I'm banking on us not having to buy another major plow for the next 3 years. Am I on halfway reasonable ground
yeah,
there?
we may have to replace another dump box on a little truck, but we can probably get 3 years out of the truck.
And we found we can do that.
Yeah.
We can find another used box we can get out of it real cheap. I gotta say, our highway department, doing the heavy welding and putting a box on a truck, including the hinge work and hydraulics, I don't think every highway department in these towns around here to do that kind of work. And it's showing up in savings. The grade all, I was told, is the most important piece of equipment in the barn. And it also is the biggest budget buster. But here we are, I'm 2 years down the road now. Instead of looking at 4 1/4, I'm looking at a brand new machine for $343,345. In this one that was on rent up at the Army base, Air Force Base 2, I'm thinking might be a reasonable alternative. And if we could even call them up and rent it. I mean, don't play no games with them or anything. Give them their rent and still look. There's a possibility, you know how I am with the used stuff. We've talked about it quite a bit. I'm comfortable paying somewhere around 50% of new. It gets less than that and we buy someone else's junk. Which, that's what you found with the Great Owls, right?
Yeah, yep.
You're buying junk or you're buying something pretty close to new.
The guys in the south, I told them I'd like to see if we can find a 17 or 18, 16, 17, 18 with that 500 to 2,000 hour range, somewheres. But they ain't got back to me yet. And, you tell them, I got a meeting Wednesday, I'd really like to know something, and you can sit
Well,
by the phone all day, they don't tell you.
You're telling me you've got culvert work that really should get done yet
Yeah.
this fall, right? And if we run it for a month, it'll buy us a month to look for something a little less money. That 301,000 too, you bring that down by 10,000. And then there's no point in paying the machinery dealer by the month. We can borrow money, probably at around 2%, if we choose not to take the 300,000 out of the budget. And we don't have to deal with the mowers until spring.
Right.
That can be in the next budget cycle. And if we were to say finance 1/3 of this, then we would have room in the budget to pull a mowing machine now and one in the spring. We don't have to buy 2 mowing machines right away if we're not using them. We're in no trouble with the employees or with the new standards. You've heard what my thoughts are. Is anybody else around the board that has something different?
You've got 250 budgeted for
300. Hmm?
Looking at this year.
Oh, 250. I knocked that down, yes. When we avoided buying another truck, and I started getting wind of smaller numbers on these Great Alls, my suggested budget to the board went down to 250 on capital acquisitions.
These 3 pieces of equipment would be 450.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 200,000 more than we have budgeted next year,
Next year, that's right.
okay? And we met our budget this year because we bought a $290,000 truck. So what do we have? We have like 40 or 50 in the budget right now.
No, that
Truck was
was,
bought with last year's money.
no, that was bought with last year's money, you're
There's
mistaken.
300 in the budget this year.
There's 300 left that hasn't been expended.
Really? I thought we bought that with 2019. But, okay, so we're gonna use up just about the entire budget for buying these 2 pieces of equipment without having a 5-year capital plan in here. I opt to take the 1-month rental, have already get his stuff done. We should, no
And then
matter,
make a decision.
no matter what,
And also, not sorry to break in, but in that month, this guy in the south may call us back and
he
find
may call us
something.
back.
So we got our fall work done, before winter. And
We should fix the other grade all too, because then we, instead of selling it for salvage, we can sell it for some money or keep it. I mean, if all the towns are keeping it to its junk, I mean, it's a Cummins diesel, or Cummins motor we're fixing, right? I
Yep.
mean,
It's been out and fixed once already, now it's gotta come out again.
well,
It's wore out.
I wouldn't consider what's it got on it. Less than, the county ones have like 15,000 hours. How many hours does that have on
We don't have 15,000.
that? You don't have 15,000
You are
hours on any of your grade alls?
No, absolutely
Well,
not.
maybe it's the state one I heard has 15,000 hours.
That's a laugh.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Well, how many hours we got on that one? 10? 8?
80 something, almost 9. I
Okay.
believe.
So if we fix it, if we get us, even if we salvage it, it could get 15, 20,000 to put 4 into it, I think would be a,
You're not going to get 15, 20,000.
The best price I've been finding that these older grade alls are going on the auction sites for is anywhere between 5,000 to 7,000.
well, I'm for fixing it. That's just my And I'm for renting this one for a month and making a decision after. You may hate it too.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right. We
Exactly.
don't know,
So, you know,
Exactly.
we don't know for sure how many hours are on it either, that's
Because
been
you tried a couple of rubber tire excavators before you
Right.
decided it wasn't the deal. So I would think you'd want a month is a good tryout. Plus you guys can get a lot of work done that
Absolutely.
we don't have to pay for a second time.
So we know it's coming for a month, we're gonna keep it busy for a month, we're gonna
That's right.
put some other stuff off, we'll put off tripping trees and stuff till the month time's up on the excavator.
No, that's my thought. Let's rent it for a month and see.
Anybody else got any thoughts on this deal?
I concur with Ryan.
I do too.
Okay. Are we in for new state contract prices on mowers after the first of the year?
That I don't know. Most of this stuff is on what's called Sourcewell, meaning you don't have to go to bid for it, they've already done that work. Whether there's price increases, I don't know after for January 1st. I don't.
Generally speaking, during the winter, the industrial equipment is adjusted.
Yeah, usually January is when they adjust
And
it.
steel has gone up dramatically. So,
One thing I forgot to bring up, one thing that's nice about the John Deere tractor is you see in the model, it's got the letter E. It's got a 2-speed 540 PTO.
yes.
You don't have to run the tractor wide open to have 540 coming out the PTO shaft. It's got like a 2-speed lever, you pull the lever, you can bring the tractor down to just over 1,500 RPMs, and your PTO is still running 540
Lots of power to
RPMs.
run.
So you don't need to run the tractor full tilt to get the mower to run the speed it's gotta run.
That's what I saw out in the fish house. 2 John Deeres and they had that lever on for 2-speed PTO.
I was surprised to see the difference in price between tractors. I was surprised it was that much difference. But they're both very similarly equipped. You know, I tried to make sure I was apples to apples, not apples to pears. And I even priced, if you look at the top of that picture, or top page, I even priced a 90-horse tractor with a side flail and a rear flail. And you can see that's about $23,000 more than the one I'm suggesting.
Burn a lot more fuel.
It's a lot bigger tractor.
Now, I have heard in the industry about the smaller horsepower tractors having a smaller tank and being more subjected to heat failure. The mowers that you have spec'd, are these the ones with the large tank on one side and the mower off the other side?
It's not, yeah, I got a picture of it. The tank is actually on the same side as the mower. But it's a separate hydraulic system.
Runs off the PTO then?
No, it runs off a pump on the front of the tractor.
Oh, the front
Runs
pump.
just the sickle bar mower. It's the same mowers we got, exact same mowers. It's the only company that I know that builds a highway sickle bar. But the hydraulic tank is separate from the tractor.
Okay.
The hydraulic pump that runs the sickle bar is separate from the tractor, so that you're not burning tractor pumps up to run the
It's not
sickle
an
bar.
issue. Okay. Does anybody have any thoughts on this mowing equipment?
I'd have to think about it for a little bit before we spend, this is times 2, right? So it'd be 150 is what you're
Yep.
thinking
Yep.
on the setup?
No, 65 times 2, be 130.
Okay, so you want, okay, so your ultimate one is the one in gray.
I'm saying the one in gray, yes.
Okay. But that doesn't give you that gives you an Alamo flail, not the.
No,
Diamond.
that's with a Cutmore flail.
Okay.
Which, the guy that designed the Cutmore flail actually designed the Alamo flail. He started his own company. I got the literature on the Cutmore. It weighs about 200 pounds more than the Alamo. It has a better knife system, I think. The tube, part of the weight and the difference is the tube that the knives swing from is a little bit larger in diameter, and it's a 1/2 inch thick ball. Alamo's tube is 4.5 inches and 5/16 inch thick. So a lot of the weight difference is right in the The
The
shaft
rotating
itself,
mat, right.
the rotating mass, yeah.
Okay.
And I talked to the salesman. He said there's not a flail mower out there on the market that runs as smooth as hers. They actually set a dime onto it. The dime falls out the top, but when they make it, they won't send it out. But we buy all our mower parts from these guys now. I'm not afraid of that mower. I am afraid of the Alamo because of the gearbox. And the Diamond is probably the best, just very expensive, built heavy, real heavy. You know, almost $5,000 more. And I don't think for $5,000 it's worth it.
That's full cab, air conditioning,
Yep.
all those goodies we have to
Yep.
have.
Like I say, the tractors are very similar. Industrial tread tires rather than ag tires, heavier sidewalls, a little stronger, a little smaller. The ag tire, the industrial tires, you can set the tractor down a little closer to the ground.
At the R4 tires.
R4s, yeah. But like I say, they'll, between the Power Star 75 and the John Deere 5075, they're almost identical. Same size tires, you know, they're real close. Another thing about the John Deere is you can shift from forward to reverse the John Deere without using the clutch. The Ford New Holland, you have to push clutch and everything on stop and back up. They both have a shuttle shift mechanism. So, food for thought.
We'll have a better idea at the next meeting with this grade out. I can't wait.
Yeah, but, yeah.
Yeah, so,
So I'm hoping that guy down south calls back with a nice 2017 for about half of what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Probably won't happen, but I'm telling you, couple
It
fingers.
could. It could.
They could.
Artie, are any of these on state contract?
They all are. It's all Sourcewell.
Okay.
Sourcewell used to be NJ.